let's go back to the time that I first remember meeting you.
Okay.
I think, as I recall, and correct me if I could very well be wrong, but you were playing a gig in Houston, and after the gig, you got your van, and you drove all the way up to Austin, and you were at the doorstep of KGSR early one morning to announce that you had moved to Austin.
Yes, pretty much. Would that have been Last Concert Cafe or Dan Electro's? Probably Last Concert Cafe.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so was Austin everything you thought it would be?
Oh, totally. I was afraid, you know, as a kid. I was like, it was such fun to be here. I thought if I paid rent, maybe it would ruin the illusion. But it's pretty fun, you know. Free guitar lessons every night. Anytime you get to see like Red Volkart for $5, you've come to the right place.
Yeah. Very cool. Let's go back to some of your influences and when did the light bulb go on that said, you know, I want to play music? When was that?
I've always wanted to play. My mom played, so there was always instruments around the house. So I started writing when I was about 8 years old, writing really goofy and bad songs, but on every instrument that I could. And then I liked covering different stuff and having a good time going out to bars. And one day, I mean, I shouldn't say that, but it's true, 14 going out to bars. And then one day I saw this guy, Little Screaming Kenny, and he writes his own songs, and he was amazing, and that was it. It was like, I want to write my own songs, I want to play rock and roll. So I bugged him all the time for lessons, and he wouldn't speak to me like a complete sentence for years. He's like, who is this jailbait? You know? But now, you know, we're best friends, and I'm honored, yeah. I'm honored to get to have played with him for as long as I have, and he introduced me to folks like Jerry Lightfoot and Joe Guitar Hughes and Grady Gaines, and man, I owe him a huge debt, you know.
Where's Little Screaming Kenny today?
Little Screaming Kenny's in Houston. I just saw him last time we played there, and it was through meeting him as well. I decided, well, I should move to the Heights. You know, I was living a bit out of the loop, so I popped in, and my neighbor, wouldn't you know, was Uncle John Turner. So that changed all my musical perspective real quick.
Yeah. Uncle John Turner was a very good friend of ours. Who played drums with Johnny Winter back in the day.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about his influence on your life as a musician.
Well, he taught me that like, depending on where you are on any given night, you shouldn't have to change your set list. There's some stuff that's universal. For example, if you're in a blues bar, a country bar, and a punk bar, and you play a Chuck Berry song, everybody's going to dig the Chuck Berry song. So try and write like Chuck Berry. I was like, okay, that's cool. And I was trying to be percussive so I could get my ideas across when I would write songs. So he taught me one thing on the drums, and it was not to be fancy-footed. He said, if you can't walk it, how do you expect anyone can ever dance it? It's like, all right, so simplify.
Well, it's not just guitar. I mean, you picked up guitar at an early age, but then you expanded. You play a variety. I mean, a lot of people know you play the trumpet, but you play a variety of different instruments.
I try. Every time someone brings something to the house, you know, I try to, you know, mess with it or write songs on it, because I'm afraid if I stay on one instrument that I'll get myself comfortable in that box and won't get out of that box. So it's nice to have to think differently.
So do you do most of your writing on guitar, piano, trumpet? Where do you find that you're the most creative?
Oftentimes just driving, no radio on, everybody's asleep. I usually do the late night drive, so I just sit there and wait for an idea to come. Sometimes you have to pull over and write it down, other times you can sing it to yourself over and over again.
Until you get to a point,
yes.
to the next exit where you can quick write it down before it escapes. You've probably lost so many great songs over the years.
I got pulled over because I wouldn't give up, you know, the song. I was like, oh, I'm going. And I get pulled over, and the gentleman said, you have any idea how fast you're going? No, sir, I don't. But if you give me 1 second, I got to finish this chorus. Did not get me out of the ticket.